Hi everyone! In this video, I would like to summarize what we learned about error handling in Scala. We saw that there are quite a few solutions available. First, we can throw exceptions, which is very convenient, but it doesn't provide any documentation. So it's completely fine to throw exceptions when we work on a small script that's going to be used a couple of times, but we should avoid doing it for larger applications. Instead, we could use I/O to describe when a function can fail. But I/O is very powerful. An I/O is essentially a thin functional layer over an imperative program, which is perfect when we need to interact with external systems, but it's overkill when we write business logic. So we applied the main idea behind functional programming to this problem. We described failures using values and updated the return type of our functions to be a mix of success values and failure values. This generic idea has many concrete implementations, each with their pros and cons. First, we studied option, which is great when the cause of failure is obvious. For example, when we look up an item in a data structure, there are only two possibilities. It's either there or not. However, if a function can fail for several reasons, then we most likely want to get some context, such as an error message that describes what happened. If that's the case, we need something more detailed, such as try. Try is like option, except that we describe the error with a throwable, which means that we can produce different error messages depending on the situation. However, we cannot pattern match exhaustively on throwable because it is an open trait. This means that we can't reliably distinguish between all error scenarios. Finally, we look at either and validation, which are almost identical. The main difference is that either is designed to stop the workflow as soon as an error occurs, while validation is designed to accumulate errors so that we can report all problems at once. The main advantage of either and validation is that they allow us to customize the error type. This means that we can use an enumeration when we want to be precise, or string or throwable when we don't. So either and validation offer maximum flexibility, but they require us to decide which type of errors we want to use, which is not necessarily straightforward. We saw that there are a few ways to design an error hierarchy, and personally, I recommend it to keep it as flat as possible. Additionally, Scala 3 is going to change a few things in this area. We'll have access to a much nicer syntax for creating custom enumerations, thanks to the enum keyword. And we'll be able to use union types to combine a few unrelated types together. I'm very curious to see how much this technique is going to be used in real-world practice. In conclusion, it's difficult to find the best error handling solution for each situation. It requires time and experimentation to figure it out. So I strongly encourage you to try different approaches to see which one fits best. The good thing is that even though there are many type constructors, they generally offer a similar API. For example, we saw that we can use for comprehension with option, try, and either, while functional libraries provide powerful combinators such as sequence and traverse. This means that it's not too painful to migrate from one type constructor to another. Great, so this was the last video of this chapter and of the course. I hope you enjoyed it. If there is one thing I would like you to remember, is that FP is all about honest functions, where we get a firm understanding of what they do just by reading their signature. This is a fantastic feature because signatures are the only piece of documentation that never gets out of sync. This means the more information we put in the input and output type, the less we need to remember and the easier it is to onboard new developers. Now, we also need to keep in mind that code needs to be easy to use and read. This is really the tricky part of our job, as we need to find out the right balance between precision and usability. In addition, the solution varies depending on the application we work on and the people we work with. In the end, there is no secret. We need to practice and discuss design decisions until we find the right trade-offs. Thank you everyone for making it to the end. I hope you enjoyed the course and learned a few interesting things. Once you have watched all the videos, you will receive a certificate of completion. Don't hesitate to share it on social media. You work very hard on this. That's all for now. I hope to stay in touch with you all on the FP Tower Slack channel.